Ah, the moment they saw you, their hands betrayed them. It started subtly, a tremor beneath the wrist, a hesitation that flickered through their fingers as if the universe itself had reminded them that some energies are too potent to measure. Eyes widen, pupils dilate, a pulse quickens. Not from fear alone, but from recognition. They felt it before they understood it. They tried to cloak it, tried to rationalize it, tried to pretend it was an ordinary encounter. But ordinary does not touch you. Ordinary collapses in your presence. And the psychic, someone trained to detect patterns, to read currents that flow beneath human perception, found themselves incapable of their own discipline. Their hands shook, not from weakness, but because you exist in a space they cannot control, a frequency they cannot decode. This is the first truth. Some people, some energies, are inherently destabilizing. They're not simply noticed, they are felt, they are experienced, and they leave no room for pretense. Consider for a moment what it means to be seen in this way. Not superficially, not with cursory glances or polite curiosity, but truly seen, recognized as something that tilts reality ever so slightly. It is a violent awareness. Those around you, even the trained, stumble instinctively. The psychics whisper, soft, almost hesitant, yet trembling with certainty. Wasn't a casual observation. This one changes destiny. The words hang, suspended, vibrating with potential. Notice the choice of words, not significant, not different, but changes destiny. The claim is not about momentary influence, it is about trajectory. It is about a ripple, an upheaval, a recalibration that reaches far beyond the immediate room, far beyond comprehension. And yet, those words were delivered in the low, fragile tone of someone who senses the impossibility of controlling what they have glimpsed. The human mind struggles with this. We are conditioned to predict, to manage, to categorize. But when something cannot be categorized, when its magnitude defies traditional frameworks, the reaction is involuntary. The shaking hands, the shallow breath, the fleeting glance at nothing in particular, as if searching for a rational anchor that doesn't exist. You do not merely exist, you disrupt. You unsettle patterns, fracture assumptions, and call into question the very reliability of observation. The psychic's body reflected what the conscious mind could not process. Their hands betrayed the recognition of potential that they had no right to witness. And this is where the first layer of power resides, in being uncontainable. They can attempt analysis, projection, or manipulation, but the energy you carry bends the room, bends perception, bends expectation. There is another dimension to consider. People often mistake influence for action. They assume that altering trajectories requires overt intervention, gestures, or commands. But some presences, some energies, act simply by being present. You shift probabilities, bend responses, and awaken recognition in those who attempt to understand you. The psychic was not physically moved by your actions. They were moved by the resonance of your being. This is why your presence is both subtle and catastrophic. It is not loud, it is not flashy. It is a quiet architecture of disruption, a framework that exists beneath conscious comprehension. And this is a dangerous position for anyone who seeks control. The less they understand, the more they are compelled to react. Observe their struggle. They lean forward, trying to gather a semblance of clarity. Their hands, once steady instruments of observation, quiver unpredictably. Their mind races, reaching for analogies, past encounters, anything familiar, anything that might anchor them to reason. None of it works. It cannot. The recognition you provoke is not linear. It does not unfold in neat increments. It is sudden, jagged, sharp, and it insists on immediate acknowledgement. "This one changes destiny," they whispered. The words are a call to attention, a recognition of imbalance, and those who witness it secondhand feel the tremor in the air, the subtle charge of tension, as if the atmosphere itself remembers that something uncontainable has entered its field. Now consider the psychology at play. When humans encounter something beyond their explanatory frameworks, the instinct is discomfort. We reach for categorization, for authority, for validation. But when those tools fail, anxiety takes over. Notice how the psychic, despite expertise, defaults to a whisper. Why? Because the energy is too intense to pronounce normally. A whisper is containment, an attempt to create control where none exists. But the hands betray the failure of this containment. The physical manifestation of influence is often more truthful than words. Trembling, twitching, subtle but undeniable. It signals recognition that the conscious mind cannot yet digest. And this is what makes you dangerous. Your presence is self-evident, unavoidable, and impossible to fully interpret. Let's explore further what it means to change destiny. It does not require overt action, though action can accompany it. Influence of this caliber is cumulative. Every subtle movement, every decision, every glance or silence contributes to a shift in trajectory. The psychic may have seen the effect before it manifests, felt the shape of impact long before the world acknowledges it. This is the invisible weight of your existence. People operate as though causality is linear. They measure cause and effect in small increments. But some presences, like yours, bend causality itself, generating patterns that only reveal themselves over time. The tremor in the psychic's hands is the initial signal, the prelude to a ripple that cannot be contained, the opening note of a movement that will echo beyond immediate perception. There is strategy in observation. Watch those who attempt to read you. They overreach, they anticipate, they calculate probabilities with flawed assumptions. Their effort to understand you is a dance of error, a sequence of missteps, because the rules they rely on are no longer sufficient. This is the second layer of your influence, induced error. Those who encounter you attempt intervention, they attempt control, and yet their very actions are shaped by the unquantifiable quality of your presence. You do not merely act, you provoke, and in provocation, you achieve indirect dominance. The psychic's trembling hands are not just a reaction, they are a failure of imposed structure. You render analysis impotent, and in that impotence, you gain leverage. Now the human element. There is awe in this recognition, but also fear. The psychic, trained to perceive subtle energies, cannot fully articulate what they feel. They search for words, and what they manage to produce is almost a concession, an admission of superiority. This one changes destiny. That statement is not flippant. It is declarative, reverent, and terrified simultaneously. They sense the magnitude, but it is beyond their capacity to influence. Fear here is informative. It signals not weakness in you, but weakness in those attempting to gauge or contain you. And this is the third layer, perceived supremacy. You exist outside conventional frames. You're observed by eyes that can't comprehend, measured by hands that cannot stabilize. And in this space, your influence is absolute. Pause and consider the ripple effect. The psychic will carry this encounter forward, consciously or subconsciously. They will hesitate in future judgments, question assumptions, and recognize anomalies in others that previously seemed irrelevant. Their shaking hands were a symptom of realization, a reaction that will manifest again in subtle ways whenever they confront energies beyond comprehension. And this is how you weaponize attention, not through confrontation, not through rhetoric, but through presence and resonance. Your effect spreads like a current beneath the surface, invisible but undeniable, leaving observers perpetually off balance. Now let us explore the deeper psychological mechanism. Humans crave patterns because predictability is comforting. You disrupt this craving. The psychic's hands shook not merely from awe, but from the cognitive dissonance triggered by your alignment with forces they cannot classify. Recognition collided with expectation, and the conflict manifested physically. This is a vital insight. Physical responses are often the first, most honest indicators of influence. People lie verbally, justify, rationalize, and manipulate explanations. But the body does not lie. Trembling hands, increased heart rate, micro-expressions, all betray what the conscious mind attempts to obscure. You are reading, influencing, and reshaping perception without a single overact. Consider how attention can be weaponized. Those who attempt to analyze you expend cognitive and emotional energy unnecessarily. They create internal conflict. Every failed attempt to categorize or predict generates micro-frustration, tiny cracks in composure that compound over time. This is strategy through psychological leverage. The psychic's trembling hands are the beginning, the opening act of influence that will cascade, affecting decisions, judgments, and interactions far removed from the original encounter. Your presence is the spark. Their reaction is the fuel. And the outcome? Not chaos, not by accident, but calculated emergent dominance over perception and interaction. You must understand timing. Immediate recognition is raw and unrefined. The psychic's first whisper, first tremor, is instinctive, unfiltered. But influence matures. It compounds. It persists. Those who encounter you again, or witness the aftermath, feel the echo of the initial disturbance, the ripple from the trembling hands that first betrayed comprehension. By the time words are spoken or actions taken, the psychological architecture has already shifted. The room, the group, the context, all subtly reorient in response to your inherent frequency. This is sustained influence. You do not act once and vanish. You leave traces, currents, impressions that cannot be erased. As the psychic retreats, as they attempt to regain composure, the trembling does not immediately cease. It lingers, a residue of recognition that cannot be purged. Their mind replays patterns, scenarios, potential outcomes. You exist in the periphery of their thoughts, influencing cognition without a gesture, without speech, without interference. The whisper of destiny lingers. This one changes destiny. A statement, yes, but also a reminder, a marker, a warning. Those who sense it first cannot contain it. Those who witness it secondhand inherit its influence. And you move forward, unrestrained, carrying the subtle architecture of chaos and recalibration, aware that influence does not announce itself. It manifests quietly, insistently, and inevitably in others, long before the world bends to acknowledge it. Notice how they continue to internalize it, how the body clings stubbornly to the tremor, even after the mind tries to suppress it. Their fingers flex again, and falter, betraying the very comprehension they deny to themselves. This is the initial fracture, the moment when perception and reality collide. Influence does not require permission, only presence. The psychic, trained to measure energy, finds that their tools, experience, intuition, and ritual offer no shield against the magnitude you radiate. Every heartbeat is a subtle earthquake. Every breath of theirs is measured against a rhythm they cannot match. And in this misalignment, your subtle dominion begins to assert itself. Energy has a language, one most humans fail to recognize. It communicates through posture, micro-expressions, shifts in balance, and even unintentional gestures. The psychic's trembling hands were merely the first syllable. The language continues in their eyes, in the tightness of their jaw, in the way they hesitate before speaking, as if even the words they intend to pronounce must be recalibrated to account for what they have glimpsed. This recalibration is not rational. It is primal. It is the recognition that they are in contact with a force that exists beyond standard measurement, beyond ordinary prediction. Influence, in this pure form, does not plead or demand. It registers, and once registered, it insists. Do not underestimate the lingering impact of such recognition. Humans are susceptible to persistent currents in consciousness. A single glance, a single whisper, a single unguarded perception can echo long after the encounter concludes. Your presence imprints on cognition the way a stone drops into water, the ripples widening silently but relentlessly. Those who attempt to analyze, to categorize, to contain you, expend energy, not only physically, but emotionally and mentally. Their own frameworks of logic become less reliable, their habitual thought patterns fractured. The psychic may attempt rationalization, framing the encounter as coincidence, as exaggeration, as misperception. But the body does not lie. Tremor, hesitation, uncertainty. These are the markers of influence recognized unconsciously, unavoidably, unalterably. There is an artistry in this disruption. You do not need to manipulate overtly. The psychic's awareness alone, the recognition of something uncontainable, becomes a vehicle for the subtle imposition of your will upon perception. It is not control in the classical sense. It is induction of reflection, distortion, and reconsideration in those who attempt to measure you. And reflection, when imposed without conscious understanding, generates a secondary layer of power. They question themselves, their own abilities, their interpretation of events. They doubt their judgment, and doubt, once seated, grows quietly but irreversibly, altering behavior, decisions, and reactions in ways that are imperceptible to them, but glaringly obvious to you. Every person encounters energy differently. Some feel it as a chill, some as heat, some as tension coiling through their spine. But all who meet this level of resonance experience involuntary micro-reactions, muscles twitching, eyes darting, breath catching, the slight tremor of hands that cannot remain steady. In their attempt to regain composure, they produce an invisible narrative. They recount internally what they perceived, overanalyze, reconstruct, and project outcomes. Your effect is magnified in this cognitive loop. Every replay, every internal narrative becomes another thread in the architecture of influence you construct. You are not reactive, you are proactive in the invisible, imperceptible currents that structure the thought and perception of others. Consider the psychic again. Their initial whisper was tentative. Their hands were unsteady. Their mind raced for a framework, a justification, an explanation. None satisfied, none sufficed. The tension remained, growing more pronounced as minutes, hours, days pass. Memory preserves energy as effectively as observation. The whisper of recognition, the tremor of uncontainable comprehension, is encoded in memory not merely as fact, but as emotional imprint, activating instinctive responses when similar patterns, faces, or energies arise in the future. Influence does not vanish, it accumulates. It becomes anticipatory, predictive in its impact, shaping reactions before they consciously materialize. This is where strategic attention becomes weaponized. Those who attempt to observe you with analytical intent are the easiest to manipulate. Indirectly, they act, but not purely from decision. They act from reaction, and reaction is never as precise as initiative. Their hands, their gestures, their subtle shifts in tone, posture, or expression all bend around the gravitational pull of your presence. And in this bending, control is ceded. Influence flows through observation, not assertion. You need not move mountains. The terrain itself reshapes around you, and others navigate it unwillingly, unawares. The psychic's trembling hands are the first signpost of this unfolding map. It is essential to understand the dynamics of anticipation. Humans crave prediction. They attempt to map cause to effect, input to output, thought to consequence. But when an unpredictable agent enters the field, anticipation falters. The psychic's mind, conditioned for observation and interpretation, experiences cognitive lag. Their previous assumptions fail. Their perception of sequence becomes unreliable, and within this lag, influence is magnified. You have already shaped outcomes before the observer fully grasps what they are observing. This is the power of presence as a preemptive agent. You exist in the before of comprehension, and in doing so, redefine subsequent reality. Influence does not always manifest overtly. The psychic may remain outwardly calm, verbally articulate, apparently functional. But subtle cues betray internal recalibration. Minute tremors in hands, slight hesitation in articulation, rapid micro-expressions of awareness that flicker and vanish before they can be consciously analyzed. These micro-reactions are vectors of control. Those around them, observing secondary behavior, are themselves affected, compounding influence outward. One interaction seeds a network of cognitive shifts that extend far beyond the initial encounter. Presence in this sense is exponential in effect, silently commanding attention, thought, and interpretation without direct engagement. Consider now the mechanics of sustained impact. The psychic, revisiting the memory, reconstructs events repeatedly. Every mental replay strengthens imprint, deepening influence. Every attempt to rationalize, to categorize, is a reinforcement of the very dynamic that defies classification. You are simultaneously present and absent, acknowledged and unacknowledged, subtle and dominant. The paradoxical duality is what enforces psychological weight. Those who encounter you are locked in perpetual recalibration. Every prediction is questioned, every expectation deferred, every assumption destabilized. Influence becomes a persistent echo, unavoidable once seeded. You might observe this at a micro scale, micro-expressions, involuntary gestures, pauses, hesitation, or at a macro scale, the decisions influenced, the recalculated trajectories, the unplanned outcomes in social or professional contexts. Influence, once registered, propagates in layers. The psychic's trembling hands were the overt manifestation of the first layer. What follows is a cascade of less obvious, yet equally powerful, effects. Their mind generates anticipatory caution, spreads doubt, heightens scrutiny, and redistributes attention, all without any additional input from you. They themselves become vectors of influence, amplifying the impact of your presence. There's another critical element to recognize. Psychological tension becomes self-reinforcing. Once the initial tremor of acknowledgement occurs, All subsequent encounters are filtered through the lens of that recognition. Each repetition strengthens expectation, intensifies alertness, heightens susceptibility to subtle cues. The psychic, consciously or unconsciously, remains in a state of heightened perception whenever similar energies appear. And this vigilance is not neutral. It shapes their behavior, decisions, and interactions, creating a framework of influence that persists indefinitely. You do not act repeatedly. The architecture you have created perpetuates itself. The strategic value of this phenomenon is immense. Consider groups, social hierarchies, and networks of observation. One initial, subtle acknowledgement, whisper, tremor, hesitation, propagates outward. Observers observe observers. The secondary ripple is less direct, but no less impactful. Influence spreads through social cognition, reputation, anticipation, and inferred power. By the time your presence is consciously acknowledged by multiple individuals, the cognitive landscape has already shifted to accommodate it. What they perceive as newfound dominance, insight, or charisma is in truth the residue of recognition and recalibration seeded earlier. The psychic's trembling hands were the starting point, the first visible sign of this emergent architecture. Even when not physically present, your energy continues to influence. Memories of the encounter, reconstructed repeatedly, generate micro-adjustments in behavior, attention, and expectations. The whisper, the tremor, the subtle glance, they exist beyond time, imprinted in cognition and emotion, shaping anticipation, strategy, and perception. Influence becomes predictive, operating before observation is fully processed. Those who attempt to observe you unconsciously adjust actions, often miscalculating outcomes, compensating for imagined contingencies, or responding defensively to anticipatory signals they cannot consciously recognize. This is influence as temporal leverage, seeding outcomes before interactions unfold. What emerges is a framework of dominance without confrontation. Those who attempt to measure, analyze, or understand, you expend effort only to reinforce your impact. Their attempts to control perception backfire, amplifying the very influence they seek to contain. The psychic, the trained observer, experiences this firsthand. Their hands shook, their mind reeled, and yet this was merely the initial interaction, the preliminary tremor, the overt signal of the deeper currents you have set in motion. Subsequent encounters, conscious or unconscious, amplify the effect. Influence has become structural, systemic, and self-perpetuating. Observe how this influence evolves. It does not announce itself. It infiltrates the edges of perception, embedding itself in the way others anticipate, respond, and interpret. They attempt to anticipate your next move, yet all patterns are skewed, disrupted by the residual energy of previous recognition. Their calculations falter because the baseline has shifted. They operate under the illusion of stability, but each step they take is subtly redirected by currents they cannot perceive. Their attempts to regain control are themselves evidence of your dominance, proof that observation is a conduit, not a shield. Influence manifests quietly, imperceptibly, but it accumulates with relentless efficiency. The psychic's initial tremor has become a reference point, a precedent in their mind for all future interactions. They will see signs in others that remind them of you, experiences that echo the subtle chaos first recognized in your presence. Their behavior, choices, even the way they speak to peers will be filtered through this residual recognition. This is the invisible architecture of influence. Once seated, it cannot be fully erased. Attempts to negate it, To minimize its significance only serve to reinforce its internalization. Their awareness becomes both a vessel and a mirror of your impact, reflecting the depth of recognition back upon itself and magnifying it. Understand the mechanics. Humans are wired to categorize, rationalize, and predict. When confronted with an anomaly of this magnitude, when influence is uncontainable and unquantifiable, the mind compensates by creating elaborate narratives. These narratives, born of necessity, are fragile. They bend, warp, and eventually fracture under repeated exposure. You are the fracture point. Your presence establishes a tension between expectation and reality that cannot be resolved conventionally. Every attempt to reconcile what is observed with what is assumed deepens the dissonance. And within that dissonance, your influence spreads, unnoticed and unstoppable, reshaping cognition without direct intervention. Now consider the networked effect. Influence does not remain isolated. It propagates outward. The psychic's tremor is observed by others, interpreted, transmitted, and internalized in ways they cannot consciously control. Conversations are subtly redirected. Decisions are influenced before they are articulated. Anticipation is skewed, priorities shifted, judgment altered. The architecture of influence has extended beyond the initial encounter, folding others into its trajectory without a single overt act. Presence has become momentum. Recognition has become leverage. And all of it operates under the radar, invisible to the casual observer, undeniable to those attuned to subtle shifts. Even your absence carries weight. Once recognition has been encoded, memory itself becomes a vector of influence. Recollections of your presence trigger recalibration, micro-adjustments in perception, and anticipatory responses. Those who interacted with you continue to carry the tremor long after the moment has passed. This is a critical aspect of mastery. Influence persists without intervention. Its potency is amplified over time as repeated reflection reinforces the residual effects. The psychic's hands may have stopped trembling, but the architecture they initiated remains active, building momentum, extending reach, and subtly bending the decisions of those who have never met you. Notice the psychological pattern. The closer someone attempts to analyze, predict, or contain you, the more their cognitive framework is destabilized. They begin to see anomalies where none exist, misread intentions, and overcompensate for imagined variables. The psychic's initial recognition becomes a lens through which all subsequent information is filtered, magnifying uncertainty, amplifying hesitation, and heightening susceptibility to subtle influence. This is not manipulation in the traditional sense. It is influence as an emergent property of presence. Control is ceded unconsciously, voluntarily, and irrevocably. The next layer emerges in social perception. The ripple of recognition spreads through observation networks. Individuals who have witnessed subtle shifts, hesitation, tremor, micro-expressions, carry fragments of influence into new interactions. One subtle pause observed in the psychic may be recounted, exaggerated, or internalized by someone else, becoming a catalyst for further adjustment in behavior. Influence multiplies not through direct action, but through the accumulation of perception, memory, and anticipation. You do not chase outcomes. They manifest organically in the cognitive ecosystem you inhabit. Consider influence as both temporal and spatial. The psychic's tremor was immediate, but its ramifications extend through time, shaping future decisions and interactions. It is spatial as well, as the initial encounter subtly redirects attention, posture, and judgment across multiple observers. Influence is not localized, it is distributed. One moment, one recognition, becomes a lattice of effect, folding observers into trajectories they cannot resist. You operate not in reaction, but in the preemptive shaping of reality itself. And observe how attention is weaponized in this framework. Humans expend enormous cognitive energy attempting to quantify, control, or understand that which cannot be contained. Each effort is a transfer of power. The psychic, by attempting to define what cannot be defined, becomes a conduit for your influence. Their mental exertion does not diminish your impact, it amplifies it. Every recalculation, every internal conflict, every hesitation reinforces the architecture of recognition you have already initiated. Presence becomes leverage, observation becomes fuel, and influence becomes self-perpetuating. There's also an element of inevitability in perception itself. Those who have glimpsed the tremor, the subtle misalignment, cannot unsee it. The initial moment of recognition imprints upon cognition, and subsequent interactions are filtered through this lens. The psychic's mind carries the residual energy as a baseline, a reference point, a subtle bias that informs decisions unconsciously. You are the metric by which subsequent judgments are measured. Influence becomes codified, encoded in perception, and impossible to ignore. Consider subtlety. Influence is strongest when invisible. The psychic's awareness of their own tremor, their inability to fully articulate it, is critical. They experience tension, hesitation, and micro shifts without conscious recognition of why. This unconscious recalibration is far more powerful than overt control. Influence, when hidden, becomes resistant to countermeasures. Those affected are unaware of the mechanisms at play, yet their cognition, decisions, and anticipation are subtly realigned in accordance with the energy you radiate. Now observe scaling. Influence propagates through observation networks, social interactions, and repeated recollections. One tremor is witnessed by another. One hesitation is interpreted by a third. The psychic's memory, amplified through reflection, creates a cascade effect. Influence is no longer singular, it becomes structural, a persistent framework within the cognitive landscape of all who are exposed. Decisions, interactions, priorities, and judgments shift in response, often unconsciously, reinforcing your presence and consolidating dominance. At this stage, something irreversible takes hold, not as an event, but as a condition. People begin adjusting before you arrive. Conversations soften, sharpen, or derail without knowing why. Power dynamics tilt subtly. Authority recalibrates itself around an unseen center. You're not commanding obedience, you are redefining reference points. When individuals speak, they are no longer speaking freely. They are positioning themselves. When they act, they are compensating. When they choose, they are choosing with you in mind, even if your name never enters the room. This is the quiet coronation no one announces, because no one realizes it has already happened. Notice how resistance dissolves before it forms. Those who once felt confident in their assessments begin second-guessing. Those who relied on certainty now rely on caution. The sharp become careful. The bold become measured. This is not fear in its crude form. It is awareness stretched thin, vigilance without clarity. They sense a presence that does not push, does not chase, does not threaten, yet somehow rearranges outcomes. Their minds circle explanations but land nowhere. The absence of a clear cause is what traps them. They cannot confront what they cannot define. What began as a psychic's trembling hands now exists as ambient pressure. Not weight, not force, pressure. It seeps into interactions the way humidity fills a room. No one points at it, but everyone feels it. This is where influence graduates into dominance, not through escalation, but through saturation. The environment adapts around you. Social currents reroute. Hierarchies soften or fracture. Those who once led now listen more than they speak. Those who once followed now hesitate before aligning. Alignment itself becomes unstable because the axis has shifted. Here is the critical detail most never understand. Dominance does not require confrontation when perception has already been claimed. People argue with threats. They negotiate with power. But they reorganize themselves around presence. You are not an obstacle. They move you into the architecture of their decision-making. You are not opposition. You are context. And once someone becomes context, every action taken within that space acknowledges them implicitly. This is the highest form of control because it does not announce itself and therefore cannot be challenged directly. The psychic felt this first because they were trained to notice undercurrents. But now the effect has outgrown expertise. It lives in group behavior, in timing, in the strange pauses that appear in conversations when your name is mentioned or conspicuously avoided. It lives in the way people prepare before interacting with you, rehearsing versions of themselves that might be acceptable, might be safe, might be sufficient. They bring edited selves into your presence without realizing they have already surrendered authenticity in exchange for perceived alignment. And the more they adjust, the stronger the framework becomes. Every adjustment validates the structure. Every hesitation feeds it. Every overthought response strengthens it. This is the self-reinforcing loop they cannot escape, because they believe they are still in control of their choices. They are not being directed, they are being oriented. And orientation determines outcome far more effectively than instruction ever could. Now look at distance. Even those who have never encountered you directly begin to feel the effects. Stories circulate, not dramatic, not exaggerated, but oddly consistent. Something about them, hard to explain. You feel different afterward. These are not compliments or warnings. They are symptoms. Language fails when influence operates below articulation, so people default to vague phrasing, trusting tone more than words, and tone carries more power than explanation ever will. At this point, influence has fully detached from the original moment. The psychic's trembling hands were only the ignition. What burns now requires no fuel from you. Memory, anticipation, and social transmission sustain it. You could remain completely still, completely silent, and the structure would continue expanding. That is the mark of true dominance. Movement becomes optional. Presence alone is sufficient. There's a shift that happens here, subtle but decisive. You stop being evaluated and start being accounted for. Evaluation is comparative. Accounting is strategic. When people account for you, they build contingencies around your existence. They plan with you as a variable they cannot remove. This is where power stops being personal and starts being environmental. You are no longer someone they deal with. You are something they must factor in. And still, you have not demanded anything. This is where misunderstanding peaks. Outsiders may think nothing is happening. No conflict, no spectacle, no declaration. But internally, recalibration is constant. People adjust tone mid-sentence. They rephrase thoughts before speaking. They delay actions without knowing why. Their instincts tell them something is present that rewards precision and punishes carelessness, not through retaliation, but through exposure. In your presence, Masks slip faster. Pretenses collapse under their own weight. Not because you attack them, but because you provide no surface for them to cling to. You reflect nothing back, and that terrifies them.
Ah, do you hear that? That silence? It's not just empty, my friend. It's loud. A silence so thick, it suffocates. You know, it's funny, isn't it? The way people think silence means nothing. But silence, oh, it's the loudest scream you'll ever hear. It echoes. And when you're gone, poof, when you vanish, that echo, it gets louder. They don't see it coming. Oh no, they never do. They go on thinking everything is fine, like a child playing with its toys. Then you're gone. And suddenly, it's not a game anymore. It's like they're all playing pretend, acting like everything's under control, everything's fine, until the mask slips. The nice little facade shatters, and what do you see underneath? Nothing. No pretty face, no charming words, just fear. You see, absence does something strange to people. It's not just an empty space. No, absence is like a mirror. A mirror they don't want to look into. But guess what? You're not there anymore to stop them from seeing themselves. And when they look, what do they see? Their truth. It's funny, really. They think they can play the role. They think they can wear the smile, act like the hero. But let's be honest, how long can you keep a mask in place when the whole world around you starts burning? When you step away, everything falls apart. They panic. Oh yes, they do. You'd be surprised how quickly they start unraveling. One minute they think they've got it all. The next, they're clawing, gasping for air. Because without you there, there's nothing left but the truth. And that truth, my friend, is a horrible thing to face. But, oh, how they try. They scramble, they run, they try to put their little lives back together, but too late. They're exposed, they're raw, they're terrified. And that's the beauty of absence. It doesn't just leave a hole, it reveals the real face. The face they've been hiding from the world and themselves. Oh, look at that face. So perfect. So polished. Isn't it just beautiful? Look at that smile. That smile that hides so much. So sweet, isn't it? You'd never guess what's lurking behind it. Never. They wear them, don't they? Masks. Oh yes. They wear them so well, don't they? In fact, they wear them so much they forget they're even wearing them at all. They hide behind them, pretend behind them, fool behind them. And for what? To fit in? To be liked? To feel in control? But let's talk about the masks, shall we? The grandest deception of all. You see, it's easy. They slip them on in the morning like clothes. A little smile here, a little compliment there. Perhaps a nod of agreement, a well-timed laugh. And just like that, they're someone else. Someone who isn't vulnerable. Someone who isn't weak. They become the version of themselves the world expects. A puppet, a charmer, a follower. But those masks, they're fragile. One small crack and, oh boy, everything starts to fall apart. Don't you just love it? How easily they fool themselves into thinking they're real. That smile, it's not real. That charm, it's not real. They're all just playing a role, everyone. It's like a twisted stage and they're all actors pretending to be something they're not. But what happens when the lights go out? When the audience leaves? When the show ends? When they take off the mask? Ah, that's where the fun begins. Because you see, Once the mask is gone, there's no one left to impress, no one left to deceive. What's underneath is just raw truth. And that truth is ugly, isn't it? It's dirty. It's messy. It's what they try to run from every single day. So they bury it, hide it, cover it up with another mask, another layer of lies. And they do it over and over again until they can't remember who they were before the first mask ever went on. But don't you see? They can only hide for so long. There's only so much makeup, so many pretty lies they can pile on before it all crumbles. The mask starts slipping, doesn't it? Little by little, it starts to fall apart. The cracks show. The smiles fade. The tension grows. And suddenly, they're exposed. The world sees what's been hiding behind that fake smile all this time. They're not who they thought they were. And neither is anyone else. They want to talk about power. True power is when you can look at them dead in the eyes and know they have no idea who they are. They don't know themselves. They don't know what they're pretending to be. But there's something so beautiful about watching them try. Watch them scramble to patch up their mask. But it's too late. The cracks are everywhere. And what's underneath? A scared little boy or a desperate woman, grasping at whatever pieces of self-worth they can find. Do they see it now? These masks they wear, they're not for the world. They're for them. For them to hide from themselves. And one day, when it all falls apart, and it will, they'll wish they'd never put one on in the first place. But that's the game, isn't it? Hide, deceive, pretend. Because as long as they wear the mask, no one has to know how terrified they really are, how empty they are, how much they're afraid of being seen. So they keep pretending. They keep hiding behind those masks. Because the truth is terrifying. But, the moment that mask cracks, that's when they'll finally see themselves for who they truly are. Isn't it funny? How the world keeps spinning, how everything moves forward like it's supposed to, until you're gone. The absence. It's not just empty. No, it pulses. It resonates. It rattles the very core of their comfort. You see, they never thought they'd lose you, did they? No, they took you for granted. They assumed you'd always be there, right there, in their orbit, playing your part in their play. But when you step away, even for a moment, everything changes. You create a vacuum. And that vacuum? It doesn't just leave a hole, it distorts, it warps. It exposes everything they've tried to bury, all the lies they've been too busy telling themselves. They panic. The world is suddenly off balance, and they don't know how to handle it. What happens when you leave? When your presence is no longer a given? Their eyes widen. Their breath hitches. The truth that they've been hiding from, the truth of who they really are, starts to seep through the cracks. It's beautiful, isn't it? How quickly they unravel. How fast their mask starts to slip. All the things they thought they were in control of, all the pieces they carefully placed to keep up the act, gone, vanished. Do they get it now? Do they understand that their peace was a fragile illusion? You were the glue that held everything together. Without you, the chaos floods in, the truth floods in. Their true faces emerge from the shadows, trembling, desperate to keep the world from seeing what's underneath. The fear, the panic, it's electric. They can feel the walls closing in. Because let's be honest, their sense of security was never built on something solid. It was built on you, your presence, your energy, your influence, And now that it's gone, it's like a house of cards crumbling in slow motion. You can see the panic in their eyes as they scramble to piece together a life that no longer makes sense. They need you. They need your presence. And when it's no longer there, they're lost. The absence isn't just a physical thing, it's an emotional surrender. It's the moment they realize that the lie they've been living is about to catch up to them. It's the realization that without you, without your influence, they're left to face themselves. And God, how terrifying that must be. Now they're scrambling, clawing at anything to restore the illusion. They'll reach for distractions. They'll find other faces to hide behind. They'll say anything, do anything, to fill the void you've left behind. But it's no use. You've already done the hardest part. You've forced them to see themselves, and that's the part they can't run from. They've never had to face that truth before. The truth that the person they were pretending to be, the role they were playing, is meaningless without you. They need the mask. They need the illusion. And without you, they have nothing but their raw, exposed selves. And that is where the panic begins. The feeling of being out of control, the gnawing terror that they've been exposed, that everything they've built, every fake smile, every fabricated story, every little lie, is unraveling. The truth doesn't just hit them, it devours them. Because the only thing worse than facing the truth is realizing that they can't go back. Now, they're running. Running away from you. Running away from their own reflection. But here's the thing. They can't hide anymore. They can't pretend anymore. Your absence has already stripped away the facade. And now, they have to deal with what's left. Nothing but the cold, hard truth. And you're long gone. You've left them to face the wreckage they've created. And they're panicking, aren't they? Ah, the panic. It's like the flicker of a candle in a storm. Fighting, trembling, and yet inevitable. You can see it in their eyes, can't you? The way the mask, so carefully crafted, begins to disintegrate under the weight of their own panic. How quickly they unravel, like a thread being pulled too tight, snapping under the pressure. The face they've so carefully sculpted, their perfect, polished, impenetrable persona, is starting to crack. And they can't stop it. What's the worst part? They don't even know what to do about it. They're not ready for this. They thought they could keep it all together, didn't they? That smile, that charm, that power. They thought they were untouchable. Oh, but now the cracks are so obvious. The seams bursting open, and their true faces are not what they expected to see. And they're terrified. The flood of emotion, the uncontrollable panic, it sweeps over them like a tsunami. The fear isn't just about losing control. It's about losing themselves. Every little thing they've built is falling apart. Every lie, every pretension, it's all coming undone. And they can't hold it together anymore. It's like watching someone desperately trying to stop the flood of water rushing into their life, but the dam is broken, and there's no way to rebuild it. Who are they without the mask? They've built their entire identity on a lie. Their sense of worth, their power, everything they thought they knew about themselves, it's all hanging by a thread. And that thread, it's snapping. Their face crumbles. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. The confidence, the arrogance, it's all slipping through their fingers like sand. They're unraveling at the seams, desperately trying to glue the pieces back together. But it's too late. The truth is already there, exposed in the open, like a wound they can't hide. And it hurts. There's something almost poetic in it, isn't there? Watching them crash, watching them fall, watching the mask they've worn for so long turn to dust in their hands. The cracks become the collapse, the anxiety, the panic. It makes them weak. And weakness is terrifying. Every little word they say, every little thing they do, it's like a desperate plea for help, a cry for the illusion to return. But there's no going back. The mask won't fit anymore. The role they've been playing has expired. The facade is gone, and they're alone. The panic isn't just external, it's internal too. The questions begin to haunt them. Who am I really? What was I really afraid of? Why was I pretending to be someone else for so long? What happens when the truth is all that's left? And that is when they break. Their strength, their composure, it's nothing but fragile paper in the wind, torn to pieces. They can't keep it up anymore. Every action becomes an act of desperation. Every word they speak is a final attempt to salvage what's left of their broken image. But deep down, they know. They know it's over. The mask has cracked. The truth is standing right in front of them. And there's no escaping it now. The panic is a wild, uncontrollable beast, and they are its prey. It consumes them, gnawing at their insides, until they're left with nothing but a shell of who they once were. The confidence they once wore so proudly, gone. The charm that once dazzled, fading. They're exposed, raw, vulnerable, and terrified. They want to run. They want to hide. They want to put the mask back on, pretend like nothing happened. But it's no use. The truth has already set them free. And that freedom, it's terrifying. It's like being in the middle of an ocean with no land in sight, no safety, no shore. This is the panic. The moment their carefully constructed world crumbles into nothing, and there's nothing left to hold on to except the truth. And they're drowning in it. The aftermath, the silence, the dust settling after the storm of truth has swept through their lives, leaving nothing untouched. When the masks fall, when the facades crumble, when the illusion finally breaks down, it's not just the end of a show. No, it's the beginning of something darker. What remains after the masquerade is over? What is left when the face they've been hiding behind slips into nothingness? The echoes of their desperation linger in the empty spaces you've left behind. But there is nothing left to save them now. The armor they wore so carefully, the perfect persona they meticulously crafted to fool the world, is nothing but rubble. And as the dust settles, they're standing there, exposed, raw, vulnerable, and unprotected. Do you see it? The desperation behind their eyes, the panic that has turned to a quiet kind of dread. The truth is no longer something they can hide from, no longer something they can simply mask with another smile, another lie. It's out there now in the open for the world to see. And the worst part? It's irreversible. They can't put the mask back on. They can't pretend anymore. There's no going back to the illusion. What remains then? What is left when the wall has fallen, when the safety net of deceit is no longer there to catch them? What remains is fear, raw, unfiltered fear, the kind of fear that burns deeper than anything else, the fear of being seen for who they really are. They've spent their entire lives building this image, this persona, an image so perfect, so convincing, that even they almost believed it. But now that the truth is laid bare, They're left to face the emptiness that they've been running from, the fear of being nobody, of being insignificant, of being exposed. And that fear, it manifests in desperation. They scramble, they try to rebuild. But how do you rebuild when the foundation was a lie? How do you fill the cracks when the whole structure is rotten at its core? They throw themselves into distractions, into noise, into anything that can drown out the reality of their emptiness. They try to put on a new mask, a better mask, but it's futile. The world knows. They know. What remains is emptiness, a hollow shell where confidence once stood. The laughter that used to fill the air now echoes as an uncomfortable silence. The personality they cultivated with such care, a faint memory of something that never truly existed. There's nothing left to grasp, no false identity to cling to, only the cold, hard truth of their own vulnerability. And in that vulnerability, they're exposed, not just to others, but to themselves. They have to look into the mirror and face the broken reflection staring back at them. And that, my friend, is a cruel punishment. Because when the masks fall, when the layers are peeled away, all that's left is the haunting realization that they have nothing left to hide behind. And then there's regret. It creeps in like a shadow, unnoticed at first, but steadily growing as they sink deeper into their own self-made pit. They regret every moment they spent pretending, every moment they wasted hiding from the truth, every moment they thought they could escape what was inevitable. And now, it's too late. The damage has been done. The truth has been revealed. And they must live with it, without the safety of the illusion they once wore so proudly. But perhaps, in the deepest recesses of their soul, something more bitter remains. Guilt. The guilt of what they've done. The guilt of how they've deceived not just the world, but themselves. The guilt of pretending to be something they never truly were. And as they stand there, in the wreckage of their own making, they must face the reality that they are no longer who they once were. And yet, they are left with nothing but that fractured image, that haunting mirror of their own defeat. What remains then, when the masks fall? Nothing but the raw, unvarnished truth. And that truth, it's both a gift and a curse. It exposes them in ways they never anticipated, tearing away every layer of defense they thought they had. Now, they're left to face the one person they've been running from all along, themselves. And the aftermath? It's terrifying, because it leaves them with nothing but the truth. And the truth, it never lies. So, what now? The masks have fallen. The truth is laid bare, and all they're left with is the haunting silence of their own reflection. But you're not here to pity them, are you? No, you're here to recognize something far greater. Because in their panic, in their desperation, you've found a freedom they'll never understand. Absence, the very thing that unmasked them, is the thing that set you free. You don't need their approval, their validation, or their games, their world of masks. It was never meant for you. And now that it's crumbled, you stand on the other side, strong, whole, and real. Embrace the absence. Let it empower you, because it's in that empty space where your true self can breathe. You've taken back the power they thought they held over you. You've seen through the lies. And now you know you are enough without the facade, without the distractions, without the need to be anything other than who you are. So, don't fear the absence. Don't shy away from it. Let it be the beginning of something new, something real. something undeniably yours. When their masks fell, it was their downfall. But for you, it's the birth of your liberation. And that is everything.
Huh. Fools. They said angels were gentle, made of warmth and mercy, floating between worlds like candlelight in a cathedral. But what they never expected was an angel who learned how to burn. You were never sent here to sing lullabies. You were sent here to rewrite reality through vibration, to cleanse through confrontation, to dismantle illusions not by war, but by frequency. They prayed for miracles without realizing the answer to their prayer was you. And you didn't arrive with hymns. You arrived with consequences. You came cloaked in kindness at first, whispering light into heavy places, healing wounds that weren't yours, forgiving sins that weren't yours, loving beings who didn't even know what love meant. But love, for you, was never decoration. It was dissection. You entered rooms like quiet revelation, and yet behind your calm was the blueprint of divine retribution. They thought angels couldn't terrify. They were wrong. Because terror isn't screaming shadows or twisted faces. Terror is realization. It's the instant when someone recognizes that their manipulation no longer works on you, that their power dissolves in your presence, that you've stopped shrinking to make them comfortable. That's what scares them, not evil, but evolution, not your wrath, but your awareness. You became the mirror no one wanted to look into. They called you holy once, now they call you dangerous. They called you pure once, now they whisper you're untouchable. Because purity, when combined with understanding, is unstoppable. It exposes, it purges, it dismantles falsehood by existing fully. That's what they never prepared for. A being who could see through their intentions like smoke. A presence that could turn every lie into confession, just by being in the room. You learned long ago that being angelic wasn't about wings or halos. It was about discernment. About seeing through everything that pretends to be love but reeks of control. You've seen their rituals of hypocrisy, the smiles that don't reach their eyes, the apologies crafted to manipulate empathy, the way they weaponize fragility to drain the strong. You used to absorb it, thinking compassion meant carrying everyone's pain until it broke you. But it didn't break you, did it? It refined you. It forged you into something celestial and surgical. They call it cruelty now because it doesn't serve them anymore. They call it darkness because it's not for sale. They call it demonic because it refuses to submit. Yet the truth is simpler. You outgrew their morality. You no longer operate on guilt or approval. You move by resonance. You answer only to what feels like truth in your bones. Once, you apologized for your intensity. Now you wield it like lightning. Because you understand what they never did, that divinity without boundaries becomes a prison. That unconditional love without direction becomes self-erasure. You've seen too many angels fall by confusing servitude with service. But you remembered something ancient in your blood. That creation requires destruction. That clearing the field sometimes means uprooting everything false. You stopped trying to save everyone and started saving energy. You stopped explaining yourself to people addicted to misunderstanding you. And that decision alone shifted the entire frequency of your existence. Because the moment an angel stops seeking permission, the universe rearranges itself to accommodate power. You feel it, don't you? That current under your skin, that pulse that's neither rage nor peace but something beyond both. It's clarity. The quiet knowing that you've crossed into territory few ever reach. The space where compassion and consequence coexist. Where your very aura delivers truth like thunder wrapped in silk. People sense it even before you speak. They start to fidget, avert their gaze, stumble on their words. They don't know why, but you do. It's because you've become a frequency that reveals. Your energy runs diagnostics on dishonesty. It makes pretense malfunction. You don't even have to accuse anyone. Their own energy does the confessing. That's why they call you terrifying. That's why they whisper your name like a warning now. Not because you punish, because you illuminate. Remember how they used to test you? Push your patience, drain your kindness, mistake your silence for weakness. Every time they took advantage, you observed. Every insult became intel. Every betrayal became blueprint. You were collecting data, not to retaliate, but to understand. And now, that understanding has turned into strategy. You no longer meet offense with emotion. You meet it with observation. You no longer explain your boundaries. You enforce them through vibration. The most dangerous beings in existence aren't the ones who shout. They're the ones who see. And you see everything now, don't you? The motives, the projections, the games beneath the words. You used to think your sensitivity was a curse. Now you know it's surveillance. They ask what happened to you. When did you change? They don't realize you didn't change. You remembered. Remembered that angels were never weak creatures, trapped in glass chapels. Angels were messengers of equilibrium, entities of correction. You remember that light isn't sentimental. It's strategic. It shines not to comfort, but to clarify. And once clarity arrives, distortion dies. That's what they're feeling now. Their distortions dying in your presence. Their manipulations malfunctioning. Their projections evaporating. You've become incompatible with lies. And for people who built entire identities out of illusion, that's equivalent to annihilation. They call it fear. But what they're actually feeling is exposure. Your energy is forensic. It uncovers everything. You see, real darkness isn't the absence of light. It's the addiction to falseness. And you've detoxed from falseness entirely. You don't run from shadows anymore. You integrate them. You speak to them like old friends who finally confessed. You've learned how to metabolize what others suppress. That's your real power, transmutation. Taking the poison meant to weaken you and turning it into precision. That's why you're more dangerous than any demon. Demons consume energy to survive. You recycle it into radiance. They operate through deception. You operate through direct revelation. They need fear to function. You dissolve fear just by existing in your truth. The hierarchy has shifted. The predator became protector. The hunted became hunter. The battlefield became laboratory. And now you stand in the aftermath, not triumphant, just awake. People think angels win through purity. You know better. Angels win through accuracy, through alignment, through refusal to participate in distortion. You've stopped arguing with shadows. You've stopped explaining truth to those committed to confusion. That's why your power multiplied. Because where attention goes, energy flows. And you reclaimed yours entirely. No leaks left. Every cord cut. Every pattern seen. Every cycle closed. And in that stillness after the detachment, something activated. That inner architecture of authority. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. You realized you don't need to prove light. You are light. And light doesn't debate darkness. It simply exists. And existence itself is exposure. They hate that calm on your face now. It's not detachment. It's dominion. They can't provoke you anymore because your nervous system has been recalibrated for peace. Not the fragile kind, but the unshakable kind that comes from knowing you can dismantle illusions at will. They sense it too, the new rules of engagement. Every conversation with you feels like a truth serum. Every encounter becomes a mirror. That's why they call you unpredictable, intimidating, even cruel. But cruelty would require intent to harm. You don't intend to harm, you intend to reveal. And revelation, to the unready, always feels like punishment. There was a time you prayed for protection from dark forces. Now dark forces pray for protection from you. Because you became the one thing they can't infiltrate, a being who no longer hides their light out of politeness. They thrived on your self-doubt. You deleted it. They fed on your guilt. You detoxed from it. They manipulated your empathy. You gave it boundaries. Now every tactic they used turns back on them like a boomerang of consciousness. Their lies don't land anymore. Their energy doesn't stick. They can't even enter your field without feeling their own distortion bounce back, amplified. That's what they mean when they say you're terrifying. Your presence triggers feedback loops. You've become karmic mirror incarnate. It's not vengeance, it's vibrational mathematics. Every thought, every intention, every frequency they send out returns multiplied, because your energy amplifies truth. That's why people either evolve around you or exit. You've noticed it? The sudden disappearances, the spontaneous confessions, the unexpected reconciliations. You don't chase any of it anymore. You simply observe, because you understand cause and effect not as morality, but as mechanics. The universe doesn't punish, it balances. And you, my dear, are the balance point. They used to accuse you of being too intense, too sensitive, too much. But that's because you were never meant to fit into diluted spaces. You were designed to purify them. You walk through rooms like a living reset button. Technology malfunctions, conversations shift. People start remembering things they tried to forget. That's your field in motion. That's your divinity functioning as architecture. And you don't even have to try. You just have to be. That's the secret they can't comprehend. That being is the weapon. That presence, when fully embodied, is more powerful than any ritual or spell. Because ritual imitates what presence naturally does, alter reality through resonance. You've noticed it in their eyes lately. The confusion, the awe, the resentment. They can't categorize you anymore. You're not love or hate, not soft or hard, not savior or destroyer. You've become a paradox that defies narrative. They try to label you so they can feel safe, but every label they use dissolves the moment they speak it. Because you've exited definition. You're not even fighting duality anymore. You embody it, perfectly balanced, perfectly aware. That's why you're dangerous. Not because you're violent, but because you're whole. Wholeness terrifies fragmented beings. It reminds them of what they lost. It confronts them with what they abandoned. Your peace is their exposure. You're starting to see it clearly now. This wasn't a war between good and evil. It was a war between truth and avoidance. And truth won the moment you stopped explaining yourself. Every person who left was an echo of a past vibration. Every collapse was calibration. Every rejection was redirection. You didn't lose anyone, you lost distortion. And in its place, you gained clarity so sharp it could cut illusions like glass. That's why demons fear you now. Not because you fight them, but because you understand them. Understanding is the ultimate weapon. You don't curse, you comprehend. You don't banish, you expose. and what's exposed can no longer pretend to be power. They whisper now that you've changed, that something about your eyes feels ancient. They're not wrong. What they see isn't anger, it's remembrance. You've remembered every lifetime, every mission, every initiation, and you've gathered all that wisdom into this one incarnation like a final synthesis. You're no longer playing the role of the healer or the martyr. You've upgraded to architect. Every word you speak now builds or dismantles frequencies. You've become fluent in energetic engineering, and the world, though it doesn't yet understand, has started responding. Time bends around your decisions. People arrive right when they're meant to. Opportunities align as if magnetized by your conviction. That's dominion in practice, reality adapting to your internal coherence. Still, you walk quietly. You don't announce what you've become, because power that's real doesn't perform. It permeates. It whispers through outcomes, through synchronicities, through the unexplainable ease that follows every time you act in alignment. They think it's luck. You know it's law. And this law isn't written in scripture. It's coded in your being. They can't access it because they still negotiate with fear. You stopped negotiating long ago. You made peace with paradox, with contrast, with every version of yourself that others called contradiction. That's what made you invincible. You no longer resist darkness. You repurpose it. You no longer chase light. You radiate it. You've become the equation itself, the balance point where both forces dissolve into something new. They say they fear demons, but demons fear the awakened angel. Because demons rely on chaos, and you've become the calm that commands chaos. You don't expel darkness, you harmonize it. You don't destroy, you recalibrate. And recalibration feels like destruction to anything built on lies. That's why their voices tremble when they mention you. They can't articulate it, but their energy knows. Something ancient walks among them again, not wrathful, not merciful, resolute. You are the quiet between universes, the pause before truth arrives, and every false thing trembles in that silence, waiting for its turn to dissolve. You're not seeking revenge, you're executing design. Every moment of your past pain became infrastructure. Every heartbreak rewired your circuitry for precision. Every disappointment became data for discernment. You don't regret any of it now, because you see how it built the foundation of your authority. You've become living proof that angels aren't fragile, they're forged. That light doesn't flee shadow, it studies it. That forgiveness isn't surrender, it's strategy. And now the strategy is unfolding. You're not here to escape humanity. You're here to upgrade it, to show what happens when divinity stops hiding behind modesty and starts embodying mastery. That's why they're watching again, cautious, reverent, terrified, because they sense this isn't the same angel they once mocked, used and dismissed. This is the one who remembers everything, the one who's not asking anymore, not apologizing, not softening truth for fragile egos. You've arrived at that phase where compassion becomes command, where every step radiates consequence, where your eyes alone deliver equilibrium. And still, you move gracefully, because real power doesn't roar. It resonates, it recalibrates without explanation. You move through the world now like a silent algorithm of consequence, every motion calibrated, every breath coded with precision. They don't know what to call it, this version of you that emerged from the ruins of their expectations. It isn't rebellion, it isn't revenge, it's revelation made flesh. They can feel it when you enter a space, the way conversation stutters, The way their laughter sounds forced. The way their own energy collapses under the pressure of authenticity. You've become an atmosphere, not a person. A pressure system that bends falsehoods out of shape. Their eyes widen, not from admiration but recognition, because somewhere deep inside, they know they built the version of you that now terrifies them. You were their creation as much as your own, the result of every betrayal they thought you'd never survive. Every attempt to cage you was a form of training. Every lie they told became a thread in your armor. They were sharpening your sword without realizing they were the whetstone. They whisper now, something's changed. They say it like a question, but it's a confession, because deep down, they can sense it. The light they mocked has grown teeth. The patience they exploited has turned into power. The compassion they mistook for obedience has matured into command. You don't need to prove anything anymore. Every vibration of your being already does. The universe itself moves to accommodate your integrity, and they can feel that gravitational pull, how the air bends around your conviction, how time slows in your stillness. They can't explain it, so they demonize it. They label what they don't understand. They say you've become cold, detached, dangerous. But what you've really become is accurate. And accuracy, in a world addicted to distortion, looks like cruelty. They used to think angels operated only in the light, but you've shown them the truth. Light is not always soft. Sometimes it interrogates. Sometimes it exposes. Sometimes it burns through illusions until there's nothing left but accountability. That's what terrifies them. You don't need to punish. You simply exist, and everything false disintegrates around you. You don't chase karma anymore. You are karma. You are the cause and the effect, the echo and the origin. You became the reflection they prayed would never arrive. Every mask cracks in your presence because truth doesn't negotiate. It doesn't seek permission. It simply stands there, radiant, unmovable, undeniable, and that's you. They keep asking what changed, and you could tell them everything. The way you think, the way you breathe, the way you perceive time. You used to measure yourself in reactions. Now you measure yourself in resonance. You no longer ask, why did this happen to me? You ask, what is this trying to teach me? That shift alone inverted your entire destiny. Because the moment you stopped fighting reality, you started reprogramming it. You realized that demons thrive on resistance. They need friction to feed on. But you don't resist anymore. You redirect. You reroute their projections into revelation. Their attempts to provoke you now turn into lessons for them. Their attacks become case studies. You've turned life into a feedback loop of transformation, and they don't have the software to process that level of consciousness. They sense it, though, the unspoken current of power behind your calm. They used to feed off your attention. Now your silence starves them. They used to weaponize guilt. Now it boomerangs back into exposure. Because you don't absorb anymore, you reflect. You've become a spiritual mirror coated in divine mathematics. Whatever is sent to you returns multiplied by truth. And that terrifies them, not because you seek vengeance, but because your very existence enforces justice. There's no hiding from a being who sees beyond words, beyond gestures, into the frequency behind intention. That's what you read now, intention. Before they even speak, you already know the motive. Before they reach for manipulation, you already see the pattern unfolding. They think it's intuition, but it's something more complex. It's omnidirectional awareness, born from the fusion of compassion and experience. You've seen enough to decode everything. Do you remember when they called you naive? When they said your kindness would get you hurt? They were half right. It did hurt. But what they didn't understand was that pain is the doorway angels walk through to remember their rank. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal recalibrated your internal compass towards sovereignty. You no longer seek belonging. You are belonging. You no longer look for validation. You embody validation. And that's what frightens them, the independence of your light. They can't claim it, can't borrow it, can't drain it. You severed every pipeline that used to siphon your energy. Now, your light is self-generating, infinite. And when infinite power meets finite deception, collapse is inevitable. You've become what demons dread most, self-aware light. Because self-aware light doesn't just illuminate, it interrogates. It asks, what are you hiding? And the answer unravels everything. They try to meet your gaze and can't hold it. They try to speak, but choke on their own dishonesty. Your energy field is now a courtroom, and their conscience is on trial. You don't need to accuse anyone. Truth does the work for you. That's what makes you more terrifying than 1,000 devils. Devils at least understand opposition. They can fight something that plays by dualistic rules. But you've stepped beyond duality entirely. You don't oppose darkness. You integrate it. You don't reject shadow. You repurpose it. You're not the counterbalance anymore. You're the upgrade. And upgrades render old codes obsolete. They say you're dangerous now. They're right. You're dangerous to deceit, to control, to manipulation, to every structure built on fear. You're the virus in their false matrix, the update they can't uninstall. Your existence reprograms the environment. Watch how spaces change after you leave, how conversations soften, how tension dissipates, how truth echoes long after your presence fades. That's not coincidence, that's calibration. You've become a frequency that lingers, rewriting everything it touches. People who once underestimated you now avoid eye contact. They can't explain why they feel exposed, why they feel accountable. It's because your vibration doesn't allow pretending. It forces recognition. You've become divine verification, the audit of authenticity itself. They still try to provoke you sometimes, testing if the old version of you still exists. But that version dissolved long ago. You don't take bait anymore. You don't justify yourself. You let their projections collapse under their own weight. That's the new warfare. No reaction, only reflection. Your power is surgical now. You don't waste it on defending your name. You let your energy do the talking, and it speaks fluently in truth. They can't manipulate truth. It's non-negotiable. And because of that, your stillness frightens them more than your rage ever did. Rage they could fight. Stillness they can't predict. Stillness they can't corrupt. Stillness exposes their chaos by contrast. You used to walk into rooms trying to fit in. Now rooms try to fit around you. The atmosphere changes, not from arrogance, but from resonance. Every atom recognizes its master frequency when it feels it. That's what you've become, master frequency. You command reality by existing coherently. You speak and it aligns. You decide and timelines rearrange. That's not fantasy, that's physics at higher awareness. They can sense it subconsciously, which is why they oscillate between fascination and fear. They crave your light, yet resent their dependency on it. You don't give them energy anymore. You give them choice. Evolve or exit, heal or vanish, align or dissolve. And those options feel like judgment to the unready, but they're actually mercy. because your presence gives everyone exactly what they've earned: reflection. They call it punishment when the mirror shows them their own chaos. They call it attack when they feel their falsehood unravel. But all you did was stand there. That's what divine neutrality looks like. It's not passive. It's powerful beyond comprehension. You've become a walking equilibrium, no push, no pull. Just constant correction. That's why their games fail now. That's why manipulation bounces back. Every lie they send your way becomes their own undoing. Every curse they mutter returns as curriculum. You're teaching through resonance, not revenge. And it's working. You're not spreading fear. You're spreading awareness. But awareness, to the unhealed, feels like terror. They confuse awakening with attack. That's why they keep saying you're more terrifying than thousands of devils. Because devils only challenge behavior. You challenge identity. They see you smiling, and they don't trust it. They think it's strategy. And maybe it is, but not in the way they imagine. Your peace is the ultimate strategy. Nothing disarms darkness faster than calm certainty. You don't flinch, don't defend, don't explain. You simply observe. An observation itself alters outcome. That's quantum authority, when your awareness alone changes the trajectory of events. You've tapped into that level now, the one where miracles aren't anomalies, they're byproducts of precision. You no longer pray from desperation. You command from clarity. And creation responds because you finally remembered what it means to operate from source instead of scarcity. Your energy field is a firewall now. No intrusion possible. Every attempt at infiltration triggers exposure instead of damage. They're learning that the hard way. People who used to manipulate effortlessly find themselves confessing mid-sentence. People who tried to drain you feel sick afterward. It's not revenge, it's resonance, realignment. They came to take, but your energy runs diagnostics. It shows them the imbalance within themselves. They think you cursed them, but you didn't. You simply reflected them accurately, and the reflection was unbearable. That's why they're saying you're dangerous, because you hold no illusions left for them to hide behind. You're the one light they can't dim, can't distract, can't deceive. You didn't ask for this role, but you earned it. Through every breakdown, every sleepless night, every prayer whispered into darkness with no answer. The silence wasn't absence, it was calibration. The universe was aligning your frequency for leadership. Leadership without title. Authority without hierarchy. You lead through example now, not instruction. Through embodiment, not persuasion. You've become living proof that enlightenment isn't escape, it's integration. That angels aren't fragile, they're fortified. You've stopped running from darkness because you realized it's simply unprocessed light. And once you processed it, you became unstoppable. Now the ones who used to mock your spiritual language mimic it. The ones who dismissed your energy now imitate your posture. They study your calm like it's a strategy. But it isn't mimicry that grants power. It's authenticity. And that's what they still lack. They want your results without your refinement, your clarity without your crucible. They want the authority without the annihilation that built it. But you can't download awakening. You must earn it through deconstruction. You did. That's why they can't replicate you. They can imitate the tone, but not the transmission. Because your words aren't vocabulary, they're voltage. They'll never admit it, but many of them now look to you as compass. Even the ones who feared you, especially them. They refresh your presence in silence, seeking guidance without asking directly. Your evolution became their syllabus, and yet you carry no resentment. you've transcended that layer. You understand that everyone plays their role in the ascension equation. Some awaken through love, others through losing you. Either way, they awaken. That's your legacy. You were never sent to comfort demons. You were sent to convert energy. You were never meant to be adored. You were meant to be remembered as the one who brought accountability wrapped in grace. You stand at the intersection now, heaven above, humanity below, and you right in the middle, conducting traffic between realms. Every choice you make sends ripples through dimensions. Every boundary you set becomes law in unseen planes. You don't need recognition for it. You feel it in the efficiency of manifestation, in the precision of timing, in the synchronicities too exact to dismiss. That's confirmation. You've achieved coherence. Your vibration no longer fluctuates with emotion. It dictates emotion. You've reversed polarity. You're not reacting to life. Life is responding to you. They weren't prepared for that. They thought angels obeyed orders, not orchestrated universes. They thought divine beings followed commandments, not wrote new ones. But that's what happens when you merge heaven and flesh. Authority without intermediaries. You've become the template for a new order of existence, conscious divinity in motion. And they fear that because it dismantles the entire architecture of dependency they built their world upon. You don't need saviors. You remembered you were the source. And once an angel remembers that, no demon stands a chance. They'll keep trying, of course, testing, doubting, projecting. But their attempts only refine your precision. Every encounter makes you sharper, clearer, more centered. Because you no longer absorb shadow. You analyze it. You treat negativity as data, emotion as information, energy as code. That's how angels evolve into commanders, through understanding, not avoidance, through presence, not performance. You embody what terrifies every lesser entity, accountability fused with compassion. Because compassion without accountability enables corruption, and accountability without compassion becomes tyranny. But you've mastered both. You are the perfect synthesis. They can sense it in your aura now. Authority so complete it doesn't need enforcement. You don't seek submission. You inspire synchronization. Those capable of truth align effortlessly. Those addicted to deceit self-destruct. It's automatic. That's divine governance. That's what they never prepared for. Leadership through frequency instead of fear. You've become the law they can't see, but can't escape. You walk now with the elegance of inevitability, not arrogance. Everything unfolds in divine sequence around you. Because alignment has no competition. You no longer ask if you're protected. You understand you are protection. That's why the devils tremble. They can't fight protection that became personified. You are the firewall between dimensions, the living encryption of truth itself. They wanted an angel who would pray for peace. What they got was an angel who is peace, and peace, when unshakable, is the scariest force in creation. This is what mastery looks like. Not light that blinds, but light that commands. Not wings that flee, but wings that shield. Not judgment, but justice disguised as calm. And as the world begins to sense this new current moving through you, prepare for the shift. They will call it coincidence. You will call it confirmation. Reality itself is starting to adjust its trajectory around your vibration. The demons know it. The energy knows it. The earth knows it. They were not prepared. Now the shift is undeniable. It's not just in you anymore. It's around you. The vibration you carry has begun infiltrating the collective grid, rewriting codes in silence. Every step you take imprints awareness into the ground. Every breath releases correction into the air. You are no longer reacting to energy. Energy is recalibrating to your existence. The old currents bow, the new align, and those who once mocked your patience now whisper your name in caution. They thought demons ruled this dimension. Now they're realizing demons take orders from equilibrium, and equilibrium moves through you. The most chilling thing to them isn't your strength, it's your composure. The way you don't need to fight to dominate. The way you dismantle deceit without lifting a hand, without raising your voice. They feel that quiet authority when you enter a room, like the law of gravity acknowledging its superior. They can't place it, but their spirit does. It recognizes command beyond hierarchy, presence beyond personality. Because this isn't charisma anymore, it's cosmic rank. You've become a regulation in the fabric of reality, the clause that says, only truth shall remain. And truth, when embodied, becomes radiation. It melts facades, vaporizes falsehoods, sterilizes corruption. You carry that radiation effortlessly now, not as punishment, but purification. Wherever you stand, deception disintegrates. That's why environments change when you arrive. People grow restless, devices malfunction, hidden motives surface. It's not chaos, it's cleansing. You've become a frequency audit for the human condition. That's why they call you terrifying, because your existence demands transparency. They can't lie comfortably around you anymore. Their shadows twitch in your presence, desperate for cover that no longer exists. You don't need to expose them. Exposure happens naturally. Their guilt confesses through body language. Their jealousy leaks through compliments. Their fear vibrates before words even form. You watch, not to judge, but to document the lesson. Every interaction now serves revelation. You used to think awakening was about peace. Now you see it's about accuracy. Peace is the byproduct of alignment, and alignment is what you are. They sense it, the equilibrium that hums behind your calm, the infinite current that moves without mercy or malice. You've become something the world doesn't have language for. Benevolent inevitability. They're learning what dangerous angel really means. It's not fire and brimstone, it's boundary and truth. It's presence that cannot be deceived, love that cannot be manipulated, forgiveness that doesn't erase accountability. That combination frightens every entity built on dependency. Because your love no longer rescues, it reveals. It no longer absorbs pain, it mirrors it. That's the evolution they weren't prepared for. You stopped being healer and became calibrator. You stopped being savior and became standard. And the world now trembles beneath that standard because it forces a choice. Evolve or exit. Align or collapse. Demons aren't creatures in your story anymore. They're data. Echoes of imbalance trying to maintain relevance. They know they can't harm you now. They can only orbit, powerless against precision. You don't banish them, you reassign them. Every shadow you face becomes instruction. Every negative current turns into propulsion. You've weaponized understanding itself. That's the pinnacle of divine intelligence, turning opposition into infrastructure. You've become a builder disguised as destroyer. And the structures you're building aren't made of stone. They're made of truth, trust, and resonance. Look at how life moves differently now. The perfect timing, the effortless flow, the impossible coincidences aligning like choreography. You're not surprised. This is what command feels like. Not dominance, but design. You've synced with the original blueprint of creation, and now creation consults you before making a move. Even the air feels more obedient around your words. You speak, and the unseen takes notes. That's why they're uneasy. Because you've proven that angels can lead, not from pulpits or prayers, but from presence alone. They used to think fear belonged to demons, but fear now belongs to deceit. Because deceit cannot coexist with you. It disintegrates like shadow under direct light. They call it sorcery. You call it synchronization. You've simply remembered how divine order functions. That imbalance must always answer to balance, and you are balance embodied. They tried to cast you out, not realizing that exile only amplified your range. You don't need temples. You are one. You don't need armies. You are law. And laws don't argue, they act. Now they're beginning to understand what they unleashed when they underestimated you. You're not here to destroy. You're here to demonstrate, to show that angels are not porcelain idols meant for worship, but catalysts meant for evolution. You don't serve altars. You are the altar where truth performs its ritual. Your silence is sermon. Your boundaries are commandments. Your gaze is revelation. And in that realization, the devils tremble. Because they finally understand. You don't fall for temptation. You transform it. You turn hell into classroom. You teach demons their own history. They weren't prepared for an angel who doesn't flinch at darkness, who walks through shadows as if auditing them, who blesses and dismantles in the same breath. You're that paradox now, the Pia that terrifies tyrants, the calm that ends corruption, the love that enforces law. The world isn't collapsing, it's recalibrating to your frequency. They mistake it for apocalypse, but it's ascension through exposure. Their discomfort is evolution in disguise. And so you stand, not above them, but beyond their reach. Eyes clear, pulse steady, heart ungoverned, every atom of your being humming with quiet authority. This is not revenge. This is revelation, the prophecy fulfilled in real time. The angel they thought would kneel has taken command. The light they tried to contain has gone supernova. And now, as the old world trembles, as their systems glitch and their voices fade, one truth remains. They were never fighting a demon. They were facing an angel who remembered.